All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we are going on a bit of a treasure hunt, but not for gold or anything like that. We're looking for a secret, one that's hiding inside a word you probably use all the time without even thinking about it.
So how much can really be hidden inside just one simple word? I mean, you'd think not a lot, right? But you'd be surprised. Sometimes the simplest things have the most interesting stuff going on under the surface. And to prove it, we're going to take a look at a super familiar word from the Simple English Wiktionary and just see what we can dig up.
Okay, so our word for today is the humble bee. And if you look at the dictionary entry, it seems, well, completely straightforward. Exactly what you'd expect, really.
Let's just read it out. A bee is a black and yellow striped insect with wings that makes honey. It has a stinger. Yep, that's a bee. No big surprises there, right? Every single word is simple, it's clear, and it does its job perfectly. But how is it doing that job?
Well, if we actually break that definition down, you can see exactly how it's put together. It's almost like it's built with Lego blocks, you know? Each piece is super simple all by itself.
Just look at this breakdown. Every single part uses incredibly common words. Insect, black, yellow, makes, honey, stinger. There's zero complex jargon, absolutely nothing to trip you up. It's built for you to understand it instantly.
And you know what? It's not just the main definition. The entire entry follows this rule of just being super clear. It tells you how to say it, points out it's a homophone for the word bee, and even gives you related words like beehive. It's all just so simple, clean, and actually really useful.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? If this is all so simple and so obvious, why on earth are we spending a whole explainer talking about it? Well, it's because there's this one little line hidden right there in plain sight that kind of changes everything.
And this is the clue we've been looking for. It's just a small note, so easy to just scroll right past it. But believe me, it is the key to a much, much bigger idea about language.
There it is. Dumb bee is on the Basic English 850 list. Now, at first glance, that might just seem like a random piece of trivia. But that one sentence, it's pointing us towards a really fascinating system for communication.
850. That number is not random at all. It is a very carefully chosen number that pretty much unlocks the entire reason this dictionary exists. So, what is the Basic English 850 list? So that number, 850, is the foundation of this whole system called Basic English. And it was designed with a pretty radical goal in mind, to make communication simpler and clearer for everyone, everywhere. Basic English is basically a simplified version of the language that uses a core vocabulary of just 850 words. And these words were all carefully picked to cover everything you need for everyday life and conversation. So remember that BE850 thing we saw on the page? Yep, that stands for Basic English.
So it all clicks into place now, right? The simplicity we saw in that bee definition, that wasn't an accident. That was the entire point. The whole goal of Basic English is pretty ambitious, really. It's meant to be a tool for international communication, to make learning English way easier, and to let you explain really complex ideas using only this tiny set of basic words.
And this really brings us to the main takeaway here. The fact that Basic English even exists proves something really powerful. You don't always need a giant vocabulary to get important ideas across. Actually, sometimes being strategically simple is the most powerful communication tool you have.
So think about it. We started with a super simple definition of a bee, and it led us to this huge idea that making things clear and accessible, that's a skill. It's a craft. When you limit the words you can use, you're forced to be clear. And that makes ideas available to so many more people, whether they're just learning the language or trying to wrap their head around a new topic.
And that leaves us with the final thought to kind of chew on. It's a really fascinating challenge. If you think about it, if your entire world of communication was suddenly boiled down to just 850 essential words, what ideas would you think are the most important to share? What would you talk about first?